The seasons are changing. It's getting cold in the morning. Ooh, catch inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you enjoy the channel and the series of videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. Yes, so just on my way home after another long day in the office, up at 5, and it was absolutely freezing this morning. On my way into work, really caught me off guard, I gotta say. I had to put on my hoodie, which I hadn't worn in a long time, but it's been really warm all day, would you believe? So now it's what, 7:30 at night, and yeah, just heading back now, and it's cool, it's not warm, it's not cold, it's just right, I would say. Anyway, the seasons are changing. Look, some changing of the colours of the leaves there, you might have picked out there. Still mostly green, but yeah, it is getting definitely colder. The nights are starting to draw in a little bit, and everybody is starting to think about new things, maybe a different change, maybe a change for the good or a change for the worse. And it kind of got me thinking today about actually changing your bike. I'm not talking about me changing my bike, but changing your bike. Now, you know, I went into the dealership the other day and I had a little walk around a street glide, and afterwards I wasn't really thoroughly impressed with the whole experience, as I already previously said, but I wasn't overly impressed with the street glide. Well, okay, let me say that again. I was very impressed with the street glide as a bike. I just wasn't impressed with the street glide for me. Now let me just kind of quantify that. There are two things that I would say that you need when you're looking for a new bike, and it's whether, there are two things. First of all, do you need it, and do you want it? So if you neither need it and neither want it, guess what? You're not going to buy a new bike, right? You're going to stay with what you got. So that is exactly where I'm at. I neither need a new bike, because I've got everything I need here with my heroic Harley. Yes, the Sport Glide. You know I love it, so there's no point in me trying to say to you that I don't. And I neither want a new bike. Well, when I say I don't want, I'll always want another bike, but would I want a bike to replace this? And the answer is no. But you know, I sort of went along and I entertained the idea, and I thought, well, I'll take them for a test ride. And I sort of thought, actually, what is it in the street glide that I think that would be any better than what I've got now? So let me just look at this. I've always been a bit of a critic of the Tourer, of the Harley-Davidson Tourer's chassis and suspension setup. I think it's a bit outdated. I think it needs to be revamped. I'd like to see those with a monoshock on there, you know, all that kind of stuff. So if I bought a Tourer now, I kind of be going against what I believe them to be. Now, that being said, I'm not really going to be flinging them round bends anyway, because they are designed for long distance riding, which really suits me. But the reality is, most of the time I'm not doing long distance riding. I'm doing sort of shorter commuter rides, pleasure rides. I'm in and out of traffic, I'm on the back roads. I want a bike to be light and nimble, but I also want it to carry stuff and for it to be a platform for me to do what I do, you know, making videos and carrying stuff and being a utility bike. Look, this is why I went for the Sport Glide, because it was the all-round package which I really liked, and it hasn't disappointed me. So if I went for a road glide or a street glide or anything else, then I think I'd be losing a lot of that versatility, but I also think I'd lose a lot of that light handling bike which I like. So there is that. I'm not going to do the long miles, which I give you. Those bikes would be a lot better for the long journeys. I mean, the really long journeys, of course. But I neither have the time nor the inclination to go on long tours right now at my stage in life. So your question, is it the bike? For me. Then I look at, say, okay, well, let's just talk about comfort. Well, seat, ride. Well, the ride is going to be better, smoother in general, and more comfortable. The seats are generally more comfortable. The riding position was pretty much what I've sat on the street glide and the road glide. They're pretty much this kind of riding position which I'm in now. You do feel like the bike is surrounding you more because of the big fairing, and the fairing is obviously going to keep a lot of wind off you. So if the bike's keeping a lot of wind off you, and that's all you really want the bike for, then maybe really just don't get a new bike, just get a bigger fairing for your existing bike. Sport Glide, okay, of course, Memphis Shays, got a whole host of different size fairings that you can have fun with. So, you know, there's lots of options to customize your bike, whatever bike it is, and just make it your own. You can still have that kind of short range bagger, if you will, short range tourer, or even long range tourer. I mean, I'd go anywhere on this bike, no problem at all. So then I think, well, okay, do I really need a bike with a big fairing? Well, actually I don't, because I actually like this as it is, but it would be nice sometimes to go on those longer journeys, keep the wind off me, especially when I'm struggling with wind noise when I'm making a video and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so then the final thing would be about the infotainment, you know, the radio and the sat nav. Well, I've got to say, I'd never use it. Look, I like listening to music just like any other person. But, you know, play me a bit of Don McLean, American Pie, and I'm as happy as Larry. All done. But I've got to say, you know, if I am going to listen to music, I'm probably just going to listen with little mini in-ear headphones. I'm not, you know, and it'll probably just be off my phone. I'm not really that bothered about having a big sound system on the bike and having speakers all over the place. As for GPS, well, again, I don't often go on journeys, even on long distance journeys, where I can't just figure it out for myself and I need a sat nav. If I do ever need one, then I can just buy a little cheap, you know, Garmin type thing, $200 or $300, pounds, whatever, shekels, and just have it mounted here on the bars, and I could just use that. So that's what they're designed for. So if I want a bike with a bigger fairing, I suppose all I need to do is just put a bigger fairing on this. If I want a bike with GPS and music, whatever, well, I can either have that off my phone or just get a little sound bomb on here, or just get a Garmin on there. So, and I don't have to go and buy a brand new bike just for those sort of mini luxuries. The bike is going to be heavier, it's going to be less nimble, and it's going to be more difficult for me to filter through traffic when you know, in the morning when I'm trying to get to work, or when I go into the, you know, into the built-up areas. And, you know, it's not going to be as much fun on the back roads. Now, all that being said, actually that isn't a game changer for me. Actually, what is a game changer is what I do when I'm not riding the bike. That's the big issue, because the Tourers are physically bigger and they're wider. So I don't actually have a lot of space in my garage at home. It's quite difficult, and I don't have direct access into it either. I have to kind of move the bike in between parked cars to get it in there. So when I'm struggling to get it in there, even with the Sport Glide as it is now, it's going to be virtually impossible to get a road glide in there or a street glide. The other thing I am thinking about is, well, actually, if I get this bike, I'll probably be looking at something like that for a long-term prospect, a long-term bike. And, you know, hey, the years are catching up on me, and, you know, it will come to a point where it's going to be a case of physical strength over the weight of the bike, just to be able to manhandle it at really slow speeds, or when I have to push it around, especially if you get your feet down on gravel and stuff like that. Look, that might sound like a bit of an excuse, but these are all considerations. Yes, you get over it. Yes, you you know, find ways of handling that kind of weight. But I just think I'll be let myself in for a load of trouble when I don't really need it. So it's need. Do I need it? No. Do I really want it? No. And I suppose the third thing which I was going to say in this changing season, as it were, is it going to make my riding any better or happier? And the answer is, I don't think it will. So I ask you this very question. What do you think about getting a new bike? What is it for you? I'm not talking about whether you'd buy anything over a Sport Glide or your Softail or any other bike, and I'm not saying that any other bike is better than another, because we all have our personal preferences. And thanks for all the, you know, the Softail owners and the Tourer owners who have, you know, commented and also sent me emails, you know, giving their thoughts on whether I should stick or twist on the Sport Glide. I have my thoughts. I have my own ideas of what a perfect bike is for me, and I think that's pretty obvious from this channel what this perfect bike is. But what is your idea? What is your idea about changing a bike? Is it something you think, you know what, I just want to change, I just want to do something different? And for me, I'm not there. It's interesting, on my last bike and the bike before that, I was definitely there. I was definitely at a point where I think, you know what, I just want to change. I want to change my bike. I want to change the style of riding and everything. But this, I'm not even thinking about it. Look, the reality is, give me anything with two wheels and I'll love it, and I'll want to ride it, and I'll want to own it, and I'll want to, you know, keep it in a stable of bikes that I don't have. But the reality is that I'm only ever going to be able to own one bike at a time, if lucky two. Would I have the Street Glide or Road Glide as a second bike for long journeys? Well, yeah, I would. I would have it in the garage. But, you know, would I necessarily go and buy a brand new bike just to ride it very occasionally, when this would still be my daily ride? This would be my first choice ride, you know, every single time. In another lifetime, in another different set of circumstances, who knows? But right now, there's no way that's going to happen, and I don't want it to happen. But no matter what I would say about going on a bike, I'd always want to go on another bike, and I'd always want to ride anything, of course. But actually owning something or having another bike over this Sport Glide, it's gonna have to be something very, very special for me to change my mind and change my riding habits as well. But the major thing for me is actually the small things. It's always those small things, the small details. It's about being able to physically get it in and out of the garage. You know, when I'm coming back at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I'm getting up at, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and all this kind of stuff. You know, trying to be as quiet as I can for the neighbours, because I am considerate like that. You know, I know people don't think I am, but I am. You know, all that kind of stuff. When I'm, you know, trying to squeeze my bike in between parked cars just to get it secured for the night, all that kind of stuff. You know, those are the small things. And you know, it would have the boxes, the storage, which I'd have. It'd have the fairing, which I'd like, the wind protection, especially for making videos, to be perfect, absolutely perfect. But I don't need a big fairing. I don't necessarily want to. I actually like the wind in my face, as it were. I don't need the infotainment. I don't need a GPS. I don't need any of that kind of stuff. The RDRS, the traction control, and the hill start or whatever, all that kind of stuff. I don't need it. It doesn't bother me that I don't have that kind of stuff on my bike. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice addition, but it doesn't bother me. So I don't need it. I don't want it. But am I going to try and ride it? Yes, I am. Of course I am. You got to go ride these things, haven't you? Why not? You never know. Oh, you know, after all this kind of huge monologue here, I might actually ride the bike, and I might be, you know, my head might be turned straight away. I doubt it, but you never know, do you? You just never know until you know, you get on it and ride. Anyway, let's know your thoughts. I just thought I'd share that with you. The changing seasons here in the UK, getting a bit colder in the morning, the leaves are starting to turn. Maybe for some of you it might be the season of change for a bike. You see what I did there? Catch you again on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com, and I will catch you again on another video coming, well, very, very soon. Ta-da now. Look at that beautiful sunset. Lovely. I've basically come from over there with a sunset on my back and then come all the way down a big loop, and now I'm heading back towards it. Look at those beautiful colours. Well, there you go.